Hello, BookTube. I have just an ordinary everyday mail haul for you today. No mega stuff video, just mail. Uh, and it's all going to be downhill because of this. This came yesterday, and I have been living with it and loving it passionately ever since. I have 4 packages of mail here, but I really doubt that anything is going to equal Philostomid Bats. We shall see. This first package is very, very light. Who's this from? Oh, this is from the Wethersfield Proctor Library up in Vermont. Best little library in the entire country. And it's... oh my. Okay, all right, well, whatever it is, it's locked down tight here. Let's see what we have. Always have scissors handy, so you're not wrestling with things. What have we got here? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Well, the Wethersfield Proctor Library has come through completely. These are tasseled bookmarks. The note says that the word passed around that I like tasseled bookmarks, and I do very much. And here I've got a whole selection of them. Bean, this came from the Wethersfield Proctor Library, where you have visited. You have visited that library. Yes, you have. They like you. She is skittered all around the floor of the Wethersfield Proctor Library. So what have we got here? Okay, a lovely bird feeder. That's what normal picturesque bird feeding looks like. It's not anything like my own experience with my South Boston hoi polloi sparrows, who would rather fight than eat. They'd rather fight with each other than eat. I lay out food for them. They get territorial over stuff they haven't seen, that didn't exist a second ago, and start fighting with each other instead of eating. The starlings take all the food because they fight with each other, because they're South Boston Irish Catholic. Then Hancock Shaker Village. Very nice. We have The Wise Man Reads Both Books and Life Itself. I skip reading Life Itself. I just read books. Then we have some spaniels. I've never owned a spaniel. I've owned a gun dog now, and many, 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 many hounds, and now a terrier, but never a spaniel. There's more spaniels. What is this next one here? Happiness is made to be shared. 2 little bunny rabbits on fungi growing off a tree. Oh, look at this. How wonderful. This is wood. Just a carved apple there with a tassel. How wonderful. Oh, my. Then the entire Hancock Shaker Village. Fantastic. Oh, these are so lovely. Boy, I swear. Books are the treasured wealth of the world and the fit inheritance of generations and nations. Henry David Thoreau, an old map of the world. There's an old print of the sun. All these with tassels. Fantastic. My current love affair is with ebooks, which sort of renders inoperative tasseled bookmarks, but I still have plenty of printed books. We have not inherited the earth from our fathers. We are borrowing it from our children. A Native American saying that was never said by any Native American. And the world is full of delightful surprises, full of bunnies. There are bunnies there. How wonderful. So this was a little padded envelope full of tasseled bookmarks. How fantastic. Okay. Well, I will redistribute them. I will put a few of them in books right now, and then I will wait to see if I'm going to get any in the remainder of 2020, if I'm going to be getting any keeper books, any things that are going to come in this room and need a tassel. Okay, fantastic. That was a great way to start. All right, so then we have 3 more packages. They're damp. They were out in the rain today on the porch. Let's see what we have here. Okay, the first one is by Melissa Fabos, and it is Girlhood. Is this a 2021 release? Yes, March of 2021. I'm thrilled to present Girlhood, a poignant universal story of the forces that shape girls and of a world where women are rarely free to define themselves. What world would that be, I wonder? 6th century? In her dazzling new essay collection, critically acclaimed author Melissa Fabos examines the narratives women are told about what it means to be a girl and the realities of growing up female in a world that prioritizes the feelings, perceptions, and power of men at girls' expense. When her body began to change at 11 years old, the author understood immediately that her meaning to other people had changed with it. By her teens, she defined herself based on these perceptions, and by the romantic relationships she threw herself into headlong. Over time, she increasingly questioned the stories she'd been told about herself and the habits and defenses she'd developed over years of trying to meet others' expectations. The values she and many other women had learned in girlhood did not prioritize their personal safety, happiness, or freedom, and she set out to reframe those values and beliefs. Okay. This is a million blurbs on it, and it's a collection of ruminations on modern femininity, modern girlhood, modern womanhood. That's always going to be of interest. I will be wary of straw men here, ironically so called. I'll be worried that too broad a brush is used and that easy villains are substituted for complex issues. That will be troublesome. I'll also be alert throughout the course of the book as to whether or not I am the villain. If this book hates me personally, then I don't want to read it. Why would it want to satisfy the male gaze by having me read it if I am just carte blanche the villain? So we will see. We will see what we will see. I am thinking about the American Midwest here, which is hardly a bastion of East or West Coast liberalism. I'm thinking of the American Midwest of Illinois and Ohio and Iowa, and in none of the schools, in any of those sprawling Midwestern states, in none of the schools, in none of the kindergartens, in none of the communities, is anything even remotely recognizable from that description. That women are raised to be second-class citizens, that they are raised to be subservient to men, that they are taught to be less, that they are taught to limit their dreams and aspirations. None of that is even remotely true. In the kindergartens and daycare centers and houses and playgrounds and schools and high schools, all across what is widely considered to be a socially conservative bastion of the country. If it's not true there, then how much less can it be true in the bedroom suburbs of Boston or in Sacramento? So we'll have to see. I mean, that was a cover copy. That wasn't the book itself. So we'll have to see whether or not it deals with its complex subject with complexity. That would be nice. Then this next one here. This is also sopping wet. Oh, great. Oh, fantastic. Okay. I knew this was out and about. This is probably out already. I knew this was out and about, but I didn't think I was going to get a copy of it. This is Fareed Zakaria, who's often quite entertaining to read. And this is 10 Lessons for a Post-Pandemic World. Quick out of the gate with one of the first serious books about COVID-19 from a social standpoint. Do we have anything about this book? No? No? No. All the blurbs are for Fareed Zakaria, and there's no pub sheet. On the back cover is exclusively devoted to one quote. On June 25th, 2017, almost 3 years before the pandemic, Fareed Zakaria made the following prediction on his CNN show, and then they quote him from his on-air dialogue. One of the biggest threats facing the United States isn't big at all. Actually, it's tiny, microscopic, thousands of times smaller than the head of a pin. Deadly pathogens, either man-made or natural, could trigger a global health crisis, and the United States is woefully unprepared to deal with it. Densely packed cities, wars, natural disasters, and international air travel mean a deadly virus propagated in a small village in Africa can be transmitted almost anywhere in the world, including the United States, within 24 hours. Biosecurity and global pandemics cut across all national boundaries. Pathogens, viruses, and diseases are equal opportunity killers. When the crisis comes, we will wish we had more funding and more global cooperation, but then it will be too late. Fateful words. I uttered very similar words. I think it was last year when somebody asked me to predict some things that might happen to the United States in the future, and I think the only thing I mentioned was a pathogen. was a pandemic of some kind. I made the same point that the United States is not prepared. Other countries were not prepared. The money's not there. The infrastructure is not there, and the mental attitude is not there. So we will see. I always like reading Zakaria, even when I think he gets, as the current faddish phrase goes, a little over his skis. But we shall see. I don't know where he finds the time to write books when he's busy as news anchor and talking head. But let's see what this last one is. A very thin box, and that ends our little mail haul. A little mail haul. I didn't want to do anything else, just the mail. This is a Europa Editions. So it doesn't have, I don't have anything to show you. It's just a preliminary copy by Cécile Coulon, translated from the French by Tina Cover, and it's called A Beast in Paradise, a haunting novel about the lineage of women possessed by their land. Okay, what does that mean? Let's see here. Emmeline's life is paradise, her isolated farm at the end of a winding path. After the sudden death of her daughter and son-in-law, this is where she farms alone, with her courage and her land as her only resources, along with her 2 little grandchildren, Blanche and Gabriel. As seasons pass, Blanche grows older and develops an even stronger connection to her home and the generations of women who have guarded it, like her mother and grandmother before her. And when she meets Alexandre, Blanche falls into a devastatingly deep affair from which she can never recover. He, devoured by his ambition, wishes to move to the city and make a name for himself, while the passion Blanche dedicates to paradise dominates her completely. Almost immediately, their differences become irreconcilable, tearing their worlds apart. Years later, Alexander shows up once again at her doorstep, ingratiating himself back into her life. Blanche believes that now she can finally be happy again, but all is not what it seems when there is a darkness lurking at every corner, and Blanche would do anything to protect paradise. And the name of the farm that she loves so much is actually Paradise. This is kind of a little sample of lazy writing, but sorry, I'm losing the light here, so we'll just wrap this up. All right, well, this came out in France last year, and now it's been translated in English. So it joins the gigantic pile of translated literature that I've had in 2020. And a lot of that has been very good, so I'll give it a try. This might be a 2020 run release. Yes, it is. This is a February 2020 run release, so this doesn't come out until next year. So I won't be giving it a try. So the books that I got today, the only one I'm going to read is Free Zakaria, and I believe this is out already. So I'll read this tonight. So there you go. Collection of essays, a short novel, and 10 lessons for a post-pandemic world, plus a whole bunch of Tasseled bookmarks. How delightful. How delightful. That's the highlight of the day. So I'm going to wrap this up for now. As I predicted, the winner and still champion. Not that anything is ever going to knock it off. So that's the mail for today. It's just an ordinary old-fashioned mail haul. We'll be back to Mega Stuff videos tomorrow probably. But I'm going to wrap this up for now. We'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.